Come, little children, I'll take thee away into Why is it when Sarah Jessica Parker sings that song in Hocus Pocus, it's super seductive, but when a man sings it, it's creepy as fuck? Like, that's weird. Hey kiddies, you want to get in my van? I got some candy. Free candy for all of you. Mike. Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another video. And today is I keep forgetting that I'm doing like the creepy videos, so I keep like yelling. This is my scammer video voice, like, hey guys, what's up? We're dealing with another scammer. But no, today we're dealing with something pretty scary, like actually scary. This is actually a spooky story. A spooky story. I don't know, but whatever. But what's going on, guys? Welcome back, and please subscribe if you are new here. We are on the road to 158,000 subscribers, and I would love you to join me on this journey. So hit subscribe and join the fam. But what's going on, you guys, and welcome back. And today we're going to be doing another spooky story. Now, this one is not really, I guess you could say it's somewhat paranormal, but it's also like kind of a cursed demon. I don't know. But this story is about a real pandemic. You think what we're dealing with right now with this little coronavirus, do you think that's bad? Wait till you hear this. This is scary. So this story is called Red Death. And the story of Red Death is a scary story about a prince who hides in his castle while a terrible plague sweeps across the land. It is based on a classic short story by Edgar Allan Poe called The Masque of the Red Death. But enough of the jibber jabber, let's jump right over to the story. The Red Death. There was a prince named Prospero who lived in a huge castle in the mountains. His servants and courtiers attended to his every whim. The castle had high stone walls and was surrounded by a deep moat. At the entrance, there were giant iron gates and an enormous portcullis over the door. The prince heard rumors that there was a terrible plague sweeping across the land. They called it the Red Death. The disease was highly contagious, and whole towns had been wiped out in a single night. Those who were infected suffered from sudden dizziness and sharp pains, and their skin broke out in a red rash. Then, within minutes, blood would start pouring from their eyes, their nose, and their mouth until they collapsed, writhing around in unbearable pain, and died. As the plague drew nearer, the prince invited 100 of his friends to take refuge in his castle and keep him company. He locked the gates, barred the windows, and lowered the portcullis to keep everyone out. Inside, the prince and his guests laughed and danced and made merry, while outside the walls, the poor people suffered and died as the Red Death raged on. To keep his guests entertained, Prince Prospero decided to hold a masquerade ball. He ordered his servants to redecorate 7 rooms, especially for the ball. The first room was painted blue, from the floor to the ceiling. The second was pink. The third was green. The fourth was orange. And the fifth was white. And the 6th was purple. The 7th room was completely black. The walls and ceiling were painted black. The carpet on the floor was black. The curtains hung from the walls were black. All of the furniture was upholstered in a black velvet. On one of the walls, there was a huge black clock with a pendulum that swung slowly to and from, making a loud and monotonous ticking sound. Every hour, the clock would strike, giving a series of loud clangs, like the tolling of a bell. None of the rooms had any lights. In each room, the only illumination came from a blazing fire in the fireplace that cast flickering shadows across all the walls. In the seventh room, the firelight cast such strange and frightening shadows on the walls that very few people were brave enough to set foot inside it. The masquerade ball began in the blue room, and the guests were all having fun. Everyone was wearing a mask. The musicians played merry songs while the guests danced. They ate the food and drank the wine that had been laid out on the tables for them. Whenever the clock struck the hour, the musicians would stop playing, the guests would stop dancing, and everyone would stand and listen to the dull clanging chime. When the echo of the tolling bell had died away, the guests would move on to the next room, and the revelry would begin again. As the night wore on, they moved from the blue room to the pink room, to the green room, to the orange room, to the white room, and to the purple room, until they found themselves entering the black room. At midnight, the clock began to strike 12, and everyone stopped to listen. As the chimes subsided, the guests became aware of a masked figure standing in the middle of them in the room. None of the guests had noticed him before. The stranger was tall and gaunt. He was dressed in a dark red cape, and his face was covered with a red mask in the shape of a skull. When Prince Prospero caught sight of the figure standing among the guests, he shuddered with anger. "Who are you?" he demanded hoarsely. "How dare you insult me by coming here without an invitation? Leave my castle this minute, or I will have you killed." The masked figure made no move to leave. Instead, he just stood there, staring at the prince. Just then, an unearthly red light illuminated the black room, and the guests became so frightened that they were shaking in their boots. Prince Prospero did not like to be disobeyed. He drew his sword and held it up. "Leave now, or I shall slay you myself," he shouted. The masked figure slowly walked towards the prince, and all of the guests drew back, too afraid to stop him. Standing in front of Prince Prospero, the figure reached up with a bony hand and took off his mask. The prince let out a sharp cry, dropping his sword. The guests screamed in horror. Behind the mask, there was no face at all, just an empty, black void. All of a sudden, Prince Prospero grew dizzy, and he felt sharp pains in his sides. His skin broke out into a red rash, and blood started pouring from his eyes, his nose, and his mouth. His guests collapsed around him, writhing in agony, and their screams echoed through the whole 7 rooms. The Red Death had come like a thief in this night, and one by one, the prince and his guests succumbed to the terrible disease. The clock stopped ticking, the fires went out, and the darkness and decay and the Red Death triumphed all over. And that is the end of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I thought it was pretty spooky. It kind of made it out to be like, what was I thinking about? Like that, what's that mask called? Like Crow Face or something like that? I don't know. I was kind of picturing that throughout the story, like some kind of plague. But it's actually like a physical body that is the plague. And it's infecting everybody it's around. I kind of get that impression. I didn't really feel sorry for the people though, because I like, if you guys know one thing about me, I can't stand royalty. I don't know what the big deal is about them. I know in like the UK they still have like the Queen and all that stuff, but I just don't understand it, how so many people are okay with having somebody like, especially in a world where we're like pushing for equality and stuff like that, and there's still people who like worship and like bow down and kiss the Queen's toes and stuff like that. Like, I've never understood royalty. I don't understand who decides that that person who shits and farts and pisses and does everything like all the rest of us is more important and should be treated like a god, just because, and they're just a fucking human being. Like, why are they entitled to so much, you know, taxpayers' money and stuff like that? And if anything like this story was to happen in real life, I bet they would be the first people to shut out the very people who fund them, you know? I just don't understand it. Royalty is just greedy to me. It's fucking, I don't know, I don't get it. It's just one of those things that I've never liked, never understood how anybody can be worshipped like a god. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't bow down to any human being. The only person I would bow down to is my love, Tina. I simp for Tina, not gonna lie. No, but seriously though, it's a pretty creepy story, but I don't feel sorry for them, especially since they shut out all the poor people and just left them to die. And he invited like all his rich friends to come and just live in this castle with him. And I'm just glad that the plague got them too, and they didn't survive. You know, shutting out the people that probably actually like fund them through their taxes or something. But yeah, it's still a pretty creepy story. Now, doesn't that make you feel a little less scared of the coronavirus? Like, I personally, this is another thing. We're not going to get all political or anything like that, but I think the coronavirus is a pile of shit, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying I don't believe it's real. I definitely believe it's real. My mom's had it. I know a bunch of people that have had it, but they had little to no symptoms whatsoever. And I'm talking about some people who are extremely overweight and have like asthma or COPD, and like, they're later in age, you know, 70s, stuff like that, and they've been perfectly fine. They've had like a cough for a couple of days, but they've tested positive for this virus. So like, I don't know, that's a whole nother video, but I think it's definitely blown out of proportion. I can't really understand how this is a pandemic. Like this story, this is a pandemic, or like the Spanish flu, which like wiped out like millions of Americans, that kind of thing. That's like, and especially since, I don't know, I'm not going to go on about it. I'm actually sick and tired of hearing about the coronavirus. Like, everybody talks about it. It's just so annoying. I just can't sit there and listen to the news anymore. I can't, like, go on social media anymore because everybody's talking about it. And it's just, I mean, yeah, I do believe it's real. I believe people get sick from it, but I don't believe it should be a pandemic. Like, I don't believe we should be, like, you know, shutting everything down, shutting down the entire economy, and, like, shutting down everything over something that's got such a high survival rate. It just, I don't know, something's not right. Something's not adding up. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm getting fed all this information from different sources. I don't watch just CNN or even like Fox. I'm not like I have my political beliefs, but I don't, you know, I don't like listen to one single source. I like to do my own research, and from when I'm looking around, like, nothing makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. There's something going on, for sure. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, make sure you drop a like on it. But let me know in the comment section, what are you wearing for Halloween? Like, do you have any plans? What is your costume idea? I have an idea, which I'm going to wear in my video. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. It's a character from one of my favorite horror movies. So I'm super excited for that. But let me know in the comment section what you guys are dressing as for Halloween, if you are. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you all, and remember the most important thing, chase your dreams, and I'll see you back here in the next video. Peace out, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoy my videos and you would like to support me and my channel more and also be featured in my videos, go check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. I would really appreciate any help you guys have to offer. As you can see, we have different tiers, different rewards, so go over there, check it out, and I would really appreciate that. Every little helps. Thank you so much. And also, guys, don't forget to subscribe with the notification bell on, and also follow me on all my social media. I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Snapchat. So go follow me on all of those, and remember the most important thing, I love you guys, and chase your dreams.